him. So what we want to do is bring in a friend here of Live Now from Fox, former federal prosecutor Neama Rahmani. Thanks so much for joining us on Live Now. This has been just really a crazy part of the last 36 hours. And now we are talking about the legal battles for Donald Trump and this case being dismissed.
For Donald Trump today in South Florida. And a lot of legal experts like myself thought that he would ultimately prevail there. But we thought he would win on presidential immunity, not the unlawful appointment of Jack Smith, the special counsel. And Judge Cannon heard arguments on this and took briefing. And most legal pundits like myself were surprised that she did, because special counsels have been appointed in this country for decades. But today, this morning, she ruled that the appointment violated two specific provisions of the Constitution. The Appointments Clause, because Smith was not appointed by the president and confirmed by the Senate, like most senior officers have to be. And the Appropriations Clause of the Constitution, because the special counsel gets automatic funding and those appropriations aren't authorized by Congress.
And I want to get your take, too, on really the timeline here of this case. It seems the judge, if she wanted to and was having these feelings about the way that the special prosecutor was on this case, I mean, couldn't this happen much earlier in the process of this case?
It could have, but it really depends on the defense and them filing their motion. And frankly, Judge Cannon has moved very slowly in this case. So these were arguments that weren't raised by the defense until relatively recently. She said it for a hearing. She accepted briefing, heard oral arguments. Most legal experts like myself thought that no other judge would even allow oral argument on this. This is such well-established law, but Judge Cannon is no ordinary judge, and she's gotten a lot of criticism in this case for making some questionable rulings. I'm certain that Jack Smith will appeal to the 11th Circuit, which is relatively conservative and which has also reversed Judge Cannon twice already.
And maybe describe to our viewers what that process will look like timeline-wise. Obviously, this will not even happen close, really, for a trial happening before the election.
Oh, there's no way there's going to be a trial in this case. So Jack Smith has 30 days to appeal, and it will go to a 3-judge panel of the 11th Circuit. And one of two things will happen. It will reverse the judge, and the case will go back to the lower court. Now, Judge Cannon can still entertain an argument on presidential immunity. Obviously, that was a huge Supreme Court decision and a win for Donald Trump. So he may still get the case dismissed on that basis. But if the 3-judge panel affirms, which means that they agree with Cannon that special counsel Jack Smith was appointed unlawfully, then Smith has two options. He can petition for hearing en banc, which means he can ask the full set of judges in the 11th Circuit to hear the case. That's a discretionary appeal. They can choose to do so or not. And then, of course, you can take the case all the way to the United States Supreme Court. I think the United States Supreme Court would accept this case because it's such an important constitutional issue, and there would be a circuit split because there have been many judges that have approved the appointment of special counsels. And probably the second happiest person right now after Donald Trump is Hunter Biden. He's being prosecuted by a special counsel as well. So if you use that same logic, the case in Los Angeles, the tax case in September, that has to be dismissed as well.
Yeah, that is so. That's great analysis there as always, and great that you pointed that out on the other side of it as well. I want to get your take as well. If Donald Trump wins the presidency again, does this case even get to the Supreme Court? If it would go that road?
Well, potentially it would be dismissed as mute because we all know a sitting president can't be prosecuted. So assuming Donald Trump wins in November, every one of his cases, except the New York case where he's already been convicted, would have to be dismissed. Now, of course, Trump is still going to argue presidential immunity in that case, but that's an entirely separate issue. It's well established in this law. It's well established in the Department of Justice that A sitting president can't be prosecuted under any circumstances. So the South Florida case, the classified documents case, the DC election fraud case, and even the state case there in Fulton County, Georgia, all those pending cases have to be dismissed. So Donald Trump has many paths to legal victory. He can win on the appointment of a special counsel like he has. Of course, he can win on presidential immunity, or he can just win at the ballot box. And I think he's the clear front runner right now. And if any of those things happen, the cases have to be dismissed, and the prosecutions against Donald Trump, all three of these pending cases, they're going to be over.
And what do you think Jack Smith is looking at as far as the other case, the January 6th case against him as well? How is this all going to factor into the special counsel's investigation as well as case against Donald Trump?
Well, in D.C., there's a very different judge, Judge Tanya Chutkin, who has been a lot less favorable to Donald Trump. She's the one that ruled against him when he was trying to avoid having documents turned over to the January 6th committee in the House. And she's the one who said that Trump does not have presidential immunity. Of course, that went up on appeal and was reversed. So I would be surprised if Judge Chutkin considers the same argument. I'm teaching right now at my alma mater, Harvard Law School. And when this decision came out this morning, the faculty and professors here, we were all shocked. I mean, this is something that's pretty well established, the appointment of special counsels in this country. And Judge Cannon's ruling is pretty out there. And she's made a series of questionable rulings. So I wouldn't be surprised if other judges disagree with her, including Judge Mark Scarsi in Los Angeles, who's handling the tax case against Hunter Biden, as well as appellate courts that will inevitably have to hear this issue.
All right, Neama Rahmani, thanks so much for joining us here. Really busy Monday to get going, and we appreciate your insight as always.
Thanks, Mike, for having me.